Hello everyone, this is Benny Hills with a modern video, and first of all I want to apologize for the lack of videos lately. I was recently on a hiking trip with my dad on the Appalachian Trail, which was really fun, um, and it was nice to get away for a little bit, but it obviously meant that I could not record videos for a bit, so that happened, that was fun, and now I'm back recording, and so today we are playing Tron. Some people will probably love me for this, some people will hate me, I'm sure, but I played a decent amount of Tron in Modern. I think it is quite good. I just got a trophy with it, so um, it's definitely a powerful deck. This is a pretty stock list, but I have a couple changes. So these 16 one-drops are pretty much non-negotiable. Everyone plays all of these cards. You can play Relic of Progenitus as well. I'm not right now, but that is an option. Pretty much everyone's playing a bunch of Karns, 2 Ugins, 4 Wormcoil. That's all pretty stock. 2 Ulamog as well. I'm playing 3 of these and actually a World Breaker, so I have a lot of cast triggers because I do want to be able to consistently beat the counterspell decks, and I also just think that these creatures are just very powerful, close the game quickly. They're good against non-counterspell decks too. I'm playing 3 Walking Ballista. This is great insulation against small creature swarm decks. I'm not playing Oblivion Stone, so having ways to deal with a bunch of X1s is important, and Walking Ballista does that well. It's also a turn 2 play that can interact. That's also a great mana sink late in the game, so just very versatile, very strong. Main reason we're not playing 4 is because there's one on the board to get with Karn. So there's basically 2 flex spots, mostly. I mean, maybe 3, but I'm playing 1 Warping Whale and 1 World Breaker. So some people play Spatial Contortion over Warping Whale, and some people play the 6-mana Ugin. Personally, I played a bit with the 6-mana Ugin and was not particularly impressed. It's very good against sort of like mid-range and control decks as just another good threat, but those are already good matchups, and so I wanted something that would give me a little bit more game against sort of other big mana decks like other Tron decks and Scape Shift and stuff like that. Warping Whale can also hit a lot of the prowess creatures like Abbot of Carol Keep and Monastery Swiftspear. You need to be careful because they can make it so that their power and toughness is not 1 anymore, but it's still good there. And also counters burn spells, also Scape Shift, ramp spells, stuff like that. So I like it a bit more than Spatial Contortion, although it's close. And then, just not being able to hit colored permanents. We already have 2 Ugins that can deal with colorless permanents, and having a 3rd Ugin or maybe a 4th just is a little bit overkill in my opinion. So I like World Breaker a bit better in that slot. I'm also playing, instead of 4 basics, I'm playing 1 Ghost Quarter in the main deck. Some people play Ghost Quarter in the sideboard and bring it in against Tron and other big mana decks, but there's a lot of Tron, a lot of Amulet decks, so I like having the 1 Ghost Quarter in the main. There's some situations where your opponent has like a million Field of Ruins and you want to have a 4th basic, so we'll see if that comes back to bite us here. And then your other utility lands are Sanctum of Ugin, Blaststone. Those are pretty much non-negotiable. They're both quite good. As for the non-artifact cards, I have 2 Wilt, 2 Weather the Storm, 2 Veil of Summer. These are all pretty good. I can imagine not playing Veil because counterspell decks we're already sort of geared up to beat, but I do just like beating those and having game there, and Veil is very good against those and also against discard decks. Wilt is awesome at dealing with Damping Sphere, Stony Silence, Chalice of the Void, although we already have Karn to deal with Chalice of the Void to some extent. So it's just a great card and also cycles. And then for the artifact package, we got some Graveyard Hate. I'm only playing 1 Graveyard piece, so no Tormod's Crypt or Grafdigger's Cage. I originally had that, but I found just 1 piece was usually enough, and you know, with Ugins and Ulamogs, we have a lot of ways to exile already. Torpor Orb, which is nice against stuff like humans, also nice against Primeval Titan. Sorcerer's Spyglass shuts down Planeswalkers and Field of Ruin, stuff like that. Liquid Metal Coating is your sort of go-to thing, because with Karn, you can use Liquid Metal Coating to turn their things into artifacts, and then kill them with Karn by turning them into 0/0s. 1 Oblivion Stone on the board, sweep the board, deal with creatures with Ensnaring Bridge. Crucible of Worlds if your opponent is recurring Ghost Quarters or things like that. Also, you can recur your own main deck Ghost Quarter with that. Sundering Titan, really good in a lot of the mid-range matchups, but also amazing against Dryad of the Elysian Grove, which turns all of their lands into all land types. And then the last Ballista, just to have a good thing to pour mana into. So, we'll hop on in. Just a couple general points with Tron. First of all, you can mulligan to I've won on the mulligans to 3 multiple times. You can mulligan so low. The actual gameplay is usually fairly straightforward, so your most important choice is mulligan decisions, and you want to mulligan very, very aggressively. Second of all, you don't care about your payoffs at all. I would keep a hand with Tron and no payoffs over a good mix of payoffs and 1 or 2 Tron pieces any day of the week, absolutely. And yeah, those are my 2 main points. Like, post board, you might need to, worry more about Warping Whale or Walking Blast in certain matchups, but in general, you just only care about assembling Tron, and if you can do that, you'll win. So hopefully we can do that, and we'll hop on into round 1. Alright, here we are for round 1. Unfortunately, we have lost the die roll. The die roll is very, very important with Tron because you are sort of slow. You're not doing anything for the first couple turns. So very, very bad to lose it. And we also rolled a 1 and then a 3, so that's pretty bad. Oof. This hand is so close to being good. We have, like, if we draw a Tron land, we have turn 3 Tron. We could go turn 1 Sphere, turn 2 crack the Sphere, so that's 3 draws towards a land. And if we draw a land in those top 3 cards, we can play the Sylvan Scrying. I think we can do better. This is the sort of hand that, like, looks okay. And if this was like a 5-card hand, I would keep it. But on 7, I think we can do better. Okay, this hand is better, but not good. So we only have 2 Tron lands, but we do have Warping Whale for interaction, and Karn is a threat that we can cast even if we don't get Tron. So we're gonna. You almost always want to bottom your redundant Tron piece if you can. That's why the London Mulligan is so good for this deck. Okay, looks like we're playing against a Titan deck. So if we draw a Tron land in our next 2 draws, we have turn 3 Karn Liberated, which is pretty much unbeatable. So hopefully we can draw something here. Worst comes to worst, we brick. Okay, so it looks like it's Scape Shift, not Titan. Alright, that was a pretty good draw. Tron land. Oh, okay, so we're going to play Sylvan Stirrings, or Ancient Stirrings, even though it's a little bit less efficient. Because I want to save the Sylvan Scrying for when we know which Tron piece we're missing. So hopefully this can hit one of the non-power plant pieces. Oof, that is very ugly. Okay, well, really happy to bottom all of these. I think we'll just take a World Breaker. We could also take Ulamog, but we have Sanctum of Ugin. We already have a Karn. Wormcoil is pretty weak, so we'll just take the World Breaker. But that was a pretty brutal brick. This deck sees a lot of cards, but sometimes you still don't see the Tron pieces. We can Warping Whale their Search for tomorrow if we want to, which I think we probably will, unless we draw a Tron piece, and then we can set up the Karn. But the key is really we just need to get to Karn before they get to Titan. Which means we get to Tron before they get to 5 lands. Although, yeah, it's going to be tough. If they play Ramp Spell here, it's super, super bad that we haven't hit a Tron piece, even though we've had a lot of looks so far. Okay, just another Search for tomorrow. So I have 3 cards. 4 mana, but they're about to go up to 5 with this unless we counter it. I don't think we can really afford to just play slow and counter this thing. Like, I think we're just going to basically scoop to a Titan and hope their plan is Scape Shift and Warping Whale to Scape Shift. Like, if we just play Sanctum of Ugin, that's just not, we're not progressing our own plan at all. So I'm just going to play Sylvan Scrying, grab a power plant, a mine, play mine, and play Sphere. So if they play a Titan here, we will just die. And that's unfortunate but true. I guess we could have Warping Whale to Search for tomorrow and then just played Karn and hope that Karn plus, like Little Karn plus Liquid Metal Coating would be enough. But I think I would rather get another Tron piece down. Like, you can't really afford to not be hitting Tron lands. Like, we're not interacting in a meaningful way. So if we're not playing Tron lands, then that's not really a good plan. So hopefully they don't have Untapped Land Titan. Okay, there's a Dryad. So this Valakut will start to be a problem, but it's still sort of slow. Or at least it won't kill us too quickly. They don't have a Titan, which is nice. They could have a Scape Shift. Okay, so we have Tron now. We are going to start with just casting. Well, I guess we'll start with just cracking this. Best case scenario, we just draw the Tron piece naturally. Okay, we did not. So Sylvan Scrying for the tower. And then we just, let's see, we could play Karn, but that doesn't really do anything. So I think well, I mean, we could go Karn Torpor Orb. Oh wait, no, we don't. We're 1 mana shy. I think we're just gonna play land, pass, and hold up Warping Whale. And then next turn we can play Karn plus hold up Warping Whale. So we're good against Scape Shift. If they have Titan, we're dead. If they have lands, though, we're fine. Okay, that's bad. Yeah, that's a real bummer. So I think we're just gonna lose to that. They get 2 Valakuts, hit us for 18. Yeah, we're probably gonna lose to that. So we were 1 turn shy. If we'd gotten a Karn down this turn, we would have won. So that's just a bummer. But sorry, I think this matchup is it's close. But if we have our good draw beats their good draw for sure. Yeah, I'm just gonna concede. They have the win here. They can get 2 Valakuts and hit us for 18 with just the triggers. All right, so we don't have much here. I mean, I think we're basically just running this back. Veil of Summer is obviously terrible. Wilt is probably worth bringing in, actually. Weather of the Storm is definitely bad. So the question is, what do we not want? And I think the answer is Walking Ballistas. They don't do anything against Primeval Titan. They're not great against Dryad either. So I think I'm actually just going to cut all of the Ballistas and bring in 1 Relic just as a cantrip. And we will run it like this. Alright, this hand is so bad. But it's not. Yeah, we should ship this. If these were better payoffs, we could maybe keep. But yeah, I think that's not really good enough. We really need turn 3 Tron. Okay, this hand I will keep. And we're just going to put back a Worm Coil Engine. These are just better threats to be ramping into. And like, Relic is bad, but it's a cantrip. And I would rather have a cantrip than a bad threat. Especially when we already have two threats. Like, if we had 2 more spheres instead of 2 big top end cards, we would definitely ship the Relic, but that's not the situation. So we're gonna lead on Sphere here. We don't have a green card in hand, but either of the green cards we could draw would be amazing draws. And if we draw a non-green card, like if we draw just a colorless card, I might just go Relic, cycle Relic, because I would like to save this for when we have the green card if possible, since we don't have any other access to green mana. Bummer, they have the turn 1 search again. So obviously, the draws where they have turn 1 search are much scarier than the draws where they don't. It's a massive difference. Yeah, I think I am just going to play Relic and crack it. It's a pretty weak line, but just cracking the Sphere, could just end up being pretty disastrous if we just, draw a random card and then the next turn we draw Sylvan Scrying. So it looks like they have another ramp spell. I mean, yeah, turn 1 ramp spell, turn 2 ramp spell is their nut draw. They could go turn 3 Titan potentially with a Castle Garen Brig. Okay, well, the question here is if we want to crack the Sphere. I kind of think the answer is no. I think we're just going to play map and crack the map, and then in a turn we can get 9 mana and get Karn down, or, I mean, either Karn. If we crack this and draw Sylvan Scrying, or maybe Ancient, yeah, I think I would rather just keep this round, have green mana on a later turn. So we'll do this. Unfortunately, we're going to be 1 mana shy next turn of casting our Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger, so that's a bummer, but it is what it is. If hitting Tron this turn would allow us to do a very meaningful play, that would be one thing, but it doesn't really do that much. Like, we can't play this Karn either way. We can't get Liquid Metal Coating down to this Karn, so, I mean, yeah, if they have turn 3 Primeval Titan, that's pretty brutal. This is a situation where Castle Garen Brig is just, very, very good for them. So hopefully they don't have that. We could potentially beat a Titan this turn, but Actually, yeah, we could definitely beat a Titan this turn. But if they don't have a Titan, we just win. So obviously that's what we want. They need to go untapped land, Primeval Titan, which isn't that unlikely because they have like, okay, sweet. Okay, them playing Valakut is very, very good for us here. Do they just have another ramp spells? Yeah, Secure Tribe Elder, sure. So we crack this. So next turn they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. So even if we, well, I guess if we hit the Castle Garenbrig, they need to have untapped land plus Titan to be able to get it. The other alternative is to just play Karn the Great Creator. But that seems worse. Like, what would that be getting? None of these. I mean, we could get Torpor Orb. But I think I would rather just start attacking their mana. So, we were going to start with a Sylvan Scrying, actually. Ooh. That's interesting. So, I guess Scapeshift isn't really much of a problem if we're playing Karn either way. So I am going to play Sylvan Scrying just because we don't have other access to green mana. We could hold up Warping Wail, but Scapeshift is not scary right now, and so Titan is the thing we're worried about. So I think I'm just going to go for this. And we're just going to grab, I guess we could grab a Ghost Quarter here, actually. Yeah, I think I am going to grab a Ghost Quarter. We could also grab a basic Forest, but I think, or, yeah, we don't need, what we want to be able to play Ulamog next turn, and we have 9 mana, so we just need any land will let us do this. So I'll grab Ghost Quarter because that can have more utility on a future turn. And then we cast our Karn. Minus hit their castle. And we don't even really care about the Karn surviving. So, yeah, like, there's a chance they could turn their Valakut on and bolt our Karn, but that doesn't matter. We have Ulamog and a backup Karn next turn, so we have plenty of action. I mean, yeah, I think it's very likely that they do have a Titan. So they still could Titan us next turn if they sack this and then have untapped land plus Titan. But if they had untapped land plus Titan, they would have done it this turn. So my guess is that they have Titan, but they don't have an untapped land. Could be like another Valakut or just like, maybe their hand is like Titan, Scapeshift, another ramp spell or something. So, although actually they would have played a ramp spell there. So they might just have like all top end. They have 5 mana right now. Okay, Dryad. So, yeah, I mean, they can get our Karn now, but... Oh, wow. Okay, that's a disaster for our opponent. So, I'm just going to plus them. Actually, no, we're just going to minus again. We're just going to go all out on their resources. Hit their Valakut. We could plus, but we have so much action that I just want to make their land count as low as possible. They'll probably just concede to this Ulamog. I would rather hit these than the Dryad here. The Dryad doesn't really do much when they don't have the land quantity. Alright, that was pretty big blowout. You really need to play land every turn for that deck, and they did not, so we crushed them. I think I'm happy with the sideboard plan. Like, Wilt would have been a lot better than Walking Ballista there, even though we had a lot of mana. Or, might not have been better, but like in a situation, yeah, I think Wilt is just better than Walking Ballista overall here. So, we'll run it back, and we're on the draw now, so things could get dicey, but hopefully we can get turn 3 Tron. We haven't had turn 3 Tron in either game so far. Which might be a sign that I'm keeping too many hands, but I don't think so. I think we've been mulliganing an appropriate amount, I would say, and we still like presented a very impressive clock there. My favorite way to win this matchup is for them to cast a Pact, and then you play Emrakul, take the turn, and don't pay for the Pact trigger. Doesn't matter how many lands they have then. They are dead. Alright, pretty easy mulligan here. Only 1 land. I mean, if we draw a Tron land in our first 2 draws, yeah, we have turn 3 Karn, but we can do better than this. Hmm. Yeah, we're gonna ship this too, I think. Again, one Tron land is just not enough. Okay, this hand is definitely better than either of those other ones. So we will keep throwback. I think Wormcoil and Ugin, because they don't interact with their lands. And hopefully we can get turn 3 Worldbreaker. Okay, turn 1 Field of the Dead is a much weaker start than turn 1 Suspending Thing. It doesn't really matter which Tron land we play here, I think. I'll just play Power Plant, I guess. So if we draw Sylvan Scrying or the Tron land, we have turn 3 Tron. It would be awesome if we just drew the Tron land naturally and we could leave our sphere uncracked. Oh wow, no ramp spells in the first 2 turns. Opponent definitely should have mulliganed this hand. So hopefully we can find the last Tron piece here. Well, that's a whole lot of power plants. Alright, perfect. So we grab the tower. Play the tower. We don't have access to green mana, but we can play... Next turn we can go Karn minus, grab Liquid Metal Coating, and then turn one of their lands into an artifact, so they can't use it. We can't kill it that turn, but they can't use it. We could also just get Torpor Orb, but I think I would rather just shut down their green source. Dryad, interesting. Okay. Well... That actually might change things slightly. Emrakul. Wow. Okay, so... Mine... I mean... So you have to have 5 other mountains. So if they have 2 lands in hand, they can bolt down something with their Karn. They can bolt down our Karn. We could just get a Torpor Orb. We could also get Ensnaring Bridge, but that seems worse than Torpor Orb, I think. I mean, we could plus, which would pretty much guarantee that Karn survives, but that seems pretty weak. This is close. So, yeah, if we minus, and they just play land, the second land will trigger Valakut. They can shoot our Karn and kill it. Then their land being artifact doesn't matter anymore, and they can just tap all of their mana and play a Titan. So I think we are unfortunately just going to have to grab the Torpor Orb. Very, very likely that they have. Like, if they didn't have ramp spells early, that probably means they just have a bunch of lands in hand. Huge bummer that we don't have a Wilt. Ooh, we could also actually grab Sundering Titan. We can't play it this turn, but next turn it would just win the game immediately. The question is, are we worried about just dying here? Like, if they go land, Scapeshift, we die. If they go land, Titan, that's 3 damage. Then they get the Titan trigger. They search for 2 more Valakuts, which would be 18 damage. So, yeah, we would just die if they have land, Titan. This is close. I think I'm just going to get the Torpor Orb here. It's a little bit more risk-averse. Like, we could just go for the easy win and just go for Sundering Titan, but I think if they don't have land, Titan or land, Scapeshift, we can probably win just on the back of this Emrakul. So, like, especially if they have Scapeshift, we can just play Scapeshift and make them sacrifice all their lands. So, this seems fine. Next turn we'll have 9, 10, 11, so... Oh, that's actually pretty brutal. We're going to be 1 land... Assuming they kill our Karn, which is very likely, we'll be 1 land shy of being able to cast Emrakul next turn. Hopefully we draw a green source for Worldbreaker. There's a Cavern. Cavern naming Giant, of course. Sort of interesting to me that Titan isn't a creature type. The Primeval Titan is a giant, not a Titan. So now they play a ramp spell. Best case scenario is they have another Dryad. Okay, Nissa Vastwood Seer. Interesting. That's not a card I've seen that much out of them. But, yeah, I mean, so good thing we minus this way. Or, actually, I sort of wish we'd gotten Sundering Titan, I guess. But they only have 2 cards. They can flip their Nissa. Wait, did they not? search for a forest. What? I'm pretty sure they didn't search. Well, so they can flip their Nissa. We need to be able to kill that Valakut ASAP. And, honestly, the Field of the Dead. But I still think if we can find... If, like, Emrakul should be pretty good. Best draw would be another tower. Because that would give us Emrakul this turn. But Emrakul should be lethal. With their Valakut, we can do a lot. We can do enough damage such that one attack should be good enough. Oh wow, that's so bad. They hit another Valakut off of that. Okay, that was definitely the worst case scenario. All right, now I actually think we are. Wow, that sucks. That's so frustrating. Any other land would have been fine, but literal second Valakut. So now if we find a green source, we're maybe okay. I guess if we could kill this, that would be good. Okay, green source is nice. So, we cast this. Oh, well, actually, no. We were thinking about getting Sundering Titan or Torpor Orb. Obviously, now Torpor Orb would not be too, or Sundering Titan would not be too great. How many actual mountains do they have if we get rid of this? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not that many. So I think I actually am just going to cast Worldbreaker and exile this. I mean, we're dead to Scape Shift still. Not dead to Primeval Titan. Just exiling a Valakut seems so weak. We could also, same with Field of the Dead. We're just very likely to die if we do that. So I think we're just going to play land, play Sphere, or play Worldbreaker, and then we'll just get a Sphere into play. So exile your enchantment. Cast Sphere. And now we'll see. I mean, we could definitely die here. They only have one card, though. And next turn we can get Emrakul down. Bummer. Okay, I think that should kill us. Oh, they got a Dryad. Interesting. Yeah, no. Yeah, we should be dead here then. So they can just crack this. That's 6 damage right there. And then if they have another land or a ramp spell, we die, which is like all of their deck. All right, bummer. So that was rough. Like, we definitely should have won that game. Hitting exactly Valakut there was so brutal. So they got us. Tough way to start. That I think it is a pretty good matchup. Again, they had very few draws in their deck that would win it there, but exactly another Valakut was rough. The one sort of relevant choice that we made in gameplay was getting the Torpor Orb, and they never played a Titan, obviously. But I don't think... I mean, I guess we could have just gotten Sundering Titan and just hoped they didn't have a Titan in their hand, but I think we played it right, and then they just had a very lucky draw, unfortunately. But that's fine. We'll get the 4-1 up against Noodles guy. Man, 0 for 2 on die rolls. That's unfortunate. Yeah, we can do better than this hand. It's the sort of hand, like, is sort of a trap, I think. I mean, we have a good chance of hitting 2 Tron lands, but no plan to get the third. Well, that is a very easy mulligan. And that is a very easy keep. So we'll just put back the 2 Sylvan Scryings because we don't have green mana. This hand just has turn 4 Ulamog. So hopefully that's enough. I mean, we're on the draw, which is too bad. But our opponent's also on a mulligan to 5. They could be playing Tron. Keep. Goodbye, Scrying. Goodbye, Scrying. Basic Island is exactly what we want to see. Oh, Vile. Interesting. So this is likely Merfolk. Hopefully they're not playing Spreading Seas, or at least they don't have a Spreading Seas. That was a good draw. So, mine map. Even if they do have a Spreading Seas, we still have turn 4 Tron, and Walking Ballista will be a great turn 3 play, so this is pretty ideal. Supreme Phantom, interesting. Blue-red Spirits. Alright, well, we'll just play Power Plant Pass. There's some matchups where you want to crack your map immediately, and some where it's important that you don't. Usually it doesn't matter. If you're playing against a deck that has ways to counter activated abilities, then you want to do it immediately. But I don't think our opponent will have that. Hopefully they don't have another Supreme Phantom. Okay, that's annoying because it basically invalidates our Walking Ballista. But I still think the Ulamog will be pretty good. They only have one card. So we will grab a tower. We already have one, but I mean, we could go for a Blast Zone, but I would rather just get the Ulamog down immediately. Or not immediately, but faster. So I think I'm just going to play a 3-3 Walking Ballista, even though it can't do anything yet. Because next turn we can play Ulamog and then shrink things, and then the Ballista will be good. We also can kill this if we really need to. And we'll get this down to have access to green mana. And we pass the turn. So if they have Rattle Chains, I mean, I guess absolute worst case scenario, double Rattle Chains stop both of our Ulamog cast triggers, but I don't think they'll have that. Wow, just cracking the Islet. That is aggressive when you already missed your third land drop. Okay, so attack. We are just going to take this. If they vial something in, then we'll probably shoot this in response. Alright, so yeah, this should be good to go then. This is definitely the sort of matchup you want to be playing when you're Tron. Cast this, exile both of your Phantoms. Then we'll go to attacks, hit for 3. Pretty good for a mull to 5. This deck mulligans quite well, as I said. So I think we're gonna just... So we could shoot this now, because then they wouldn't get the buff anymore, but I want to respond to the Vial trigger in case they use Vial. This sort of shuts down their Vial. Okay, so they do use Vial here. I'm just going to shoot this now. If they put in the 2-3 Flying Lord, then I want to be able to just kill this easily. Okay, Spell Queller is not going to be too threatening, I think. I mean, we're not killing them next turn. Actually, no, we can kill them next turn with leveling up the Ballista. So they'll have to chump block. And there's definitely no way they can kill us. Alright, so when we both mulled to 5, didn't matter that we were on the draw. We could easily take down Spirits. Veil of Summer is good against blue decks in general, but it does not work against Spell Queller, awkwardly enough. Wilt is okay. It's good against Vial, but not much else. Oblivion Stone and Walking Ballista are both great cards, but I do want to have some things to get with Karn. Warping Whale is not great because they have so many lords, but I guess if they only have one Supreme Phantom, it's good against that. The Worm Coils are sort of hard for them to raise. I'm kind of leaning towards just running it back. I guess we could do this. This loses the ability for us to find Walking Ballista with our Karn, but I think that's okay. Karn can just get Oblivion Stone or Ensnaring Bridge, usually, if we need to deal with creatures, or Torpor Orb. So, yeah, I think we'll run it like this. I guess Emrakul's probably worse than Ulamog. Actually, no, the Flyer is nice. We'll do it like this. Run that. Hopefully we can get turn 3 Tron again. We can get turn 3 Tron. We have no payoffs, but that does not matter too much. This is another situation where Ghost Quarter is slightly worse than a Forest, but it's basically negligible. Okay, so that could counter our Sylvan Scrying, which is a bit annoying. So we'll see if we just jam it into it or hold off. I'm kind of leaning towards just jamming it, even though I would like it to resolve, just because with lords and flash creatures and stuff, I don't think it's very likely we find a window to do it. Yeah, I mean, definitely not now. So we'll just use Sylvan Scrying as a removal spell. Never mind. We will just use that. Yeah, I'll cast this. I actually sort of want them to counter this, especially since we have multiple others. Okay, they didn't. That's interesting. So we'll grab a Walking Ballista. I would have loved to hit a Tron land there, obviously. I think they should have countered this for what it's worth. That was certainly a misplay on their part. So we will grab the Ballista and go land Sphere again. The only difference between Sphere and Star is that Star triggers when it gets killed. So if they have like a disenchant, Star is better. And this draws card as a part of the cost, so they cannot respond to it. So in general, Star is definitely better against stuff like Lantern Control. This is very important, but Lantern Control isn't really a deck these days. So they attack and then hold up Spell Queller most likely, which is definitely good for us. They're just playing it very slow and giving us time, which is exactly what we want. Okay, that worked out perfectly. So we will cast a 3/3 Ballista. They cannot Spell Queller this. Okay, they just have a Disdainful Stroke, sure. Still, they're just going very slow. We crack this, play Ancient Stirrings. They can counter this if they want to. They don't, which is questionable. Next turn, we have 9 mana. We're 1 mana shy of being able to play Emrakul. Ugin is the best card, but it's worse against counterspells. This is very close, actually. We could also just go Karn, and then next turn we'd have 9 mana. No, we're 1 mana shy of being able to use Star, Scrying, and Karn, and go for the Sanctum of Ugin, which could then find us one of these Eldrazi. I think I'm just gonna take the Ugin and make them just keep on having a counterspell every turn. So next turn we can play Star plus Ugin, and they have to have another Disdainful Stroke. There's definitely an argument for getting Emrakul there, but I want to be able to have a Haymaker next turn. I don't want to let them have a turn off where we can they can stick a Lord or something. Okay, so we will play Mine, cast the Ugin. Very likely to get countered, but that's fine. They're not advancing their board if they're doing that. Yep, second Disdainful Stroke. Cast our Star. Pass the turn. So we're out of action now, and our hand is pretty much all bricks, but we have a lot of live draws. The Tron just top decks so well in general. So they play their Lord here. I mean, they're hitting us pretty hard, I guess. They're hitting us for 8. Oh, wait, actually, yeah, we need to top deck something this turn. But we have at least 2 draws, and a lot of draws that would do it. Actually, no, we can just grab Blast Zone, so we're pretty much fine. So, let's see, we'll crack this. Map? Wow, okay, well, someone's crying. Grab Blast Zone. I'm just going to do it now. So now they're down to just 1 Drogskol Captain. Unfortunately, we don't have enough mana to also play Wormcoil Engine, so I'll just play Map. Crack the map. And I think I'm actually just going to grab a Forest here in case we draw Ancient Stirrings. We don't really need to Sanctum of Ugin. If we find a big spell like that, we already win. And we'll just play another map. Pass the turn back. And so, if they have a Lord, we're still dead in 2 turns, so we need to draw something. Okay, them hitting us for 2 is good there, but they're very likely holding up a flash threat of some sort. That's bad. I think we just lose now. Well, we'll cast a Wormcoil Engine. Hopefully they just Disdainful Stroke this instead of advancing their board. Bummer. Alright, well, I'm just going to pass the turn and feign holding up a interaction of some sort. I mean, we could just... Yeah, they're going for it. So they just play Spell Queller. That's unfortunate. Hard to say if we would have won if we had gone for Emrakul there. I sort of think we would have, but it's not clear. So we do lose that one. They just had the double Disdainful Stroke, and we only had 2 Haymakers that could really do the job for us there. Oh, dang it. Karn would have won the game for sure. Actually, yeah, Karn definitely would have won. We could have just gotten Oblivion Stone and won. So that's frustrating. We were 1 draw step short. But now we're on the play, so this should be a pretty good situation for us, I think. Oh, actually, that was a misplay. I should have brought in Veils. I'm not sure what to cut, but we definitely do want Veils if they're playing that much sideboard hate. Alright, excellent hand. I mean, our payoffs are bad, but we have Tron, so that makes it excellent by itself. I'm just going to play Map here, and we're going to crack the map for a Blast Zone, most likely. There's a Mausoleum Wanderer. Definitely wish this Worm Coil... Ooh, that is a good draw. I wish this Worm Coil was a Walking Ballista. It's much better against this sort of thing. They might have Paths in their deck still. That's a bit unclear, but we'll see. And we'll also see if they try and advance their board, if they just hold up Counterspell mana. Yeah, I think Actually, I'm going to get Sanctum of Ugin here, I think. Yeah, we still have Sylvan Scry and get Blast Zone if we want it. And so now we can go this turn Worm Coil plus Sphere. Ooh, that was a good draw. So cast this. We'll see if they go for this Disdainful Stroke. This can obviously race their Tiny Flyers very easily if it does last. Grab Basic Plains and Disdainful Stroke. Yep. Sphere. Next turn we have Ugin or Karn. Probably Ugin. So we'll see if they have the double Disdainful Stroke again. Our Electrical is still very healthy, which is nice. Well, that gives us the nice Ugin or Ulamog next turn. So we'll cast this, sack this, grab Ulamog. Let's see if they have the second stroke. If this does resolve, we're definitely just plussing here. Force of Negation. Okay, sure. This is still fine. They're not advancing their board, and we are advancing ours. As in, I mean, we're not, we have no big permanents on the board, but we're advancing our mana, and with Tron, that's really the name of the game. So their shields are down now. I mean, they know we have this Ulamog, but they don't know we have Tower, so they might think they have at least 1 turn off. This has Hexproof now, so we can't hit that, but we can just hit the Captain plus their Hallowed Fountain. They might just concede to the Ulamog. Boom, boom. And I'm still just leaving this around because, in general, you do want to draw cards before making choices about what to play. But, there's nothing we could have drawn that would make us not play Ulamog there. So I'd rather just keep this around to keep the green mana option on the table. I mean, we can get green mana also just from using the map. But, I'd rather use the map to find a Blast Zone or something like that than just looking for a basic forest. Our opponent is admirably fighting on, but I think it's not going to work for them. We will just start by attacking for 10. We'll see if they're playing a bunch of paths. They are playing path. They're also playing Deputy of Detention, so they have a couple answers. we will play... I guess we'll crack this now. Another sphere. Crack this as well. Alright, so I'm just going to play Sylvan Scry and grab Blast Zone. Play Blast Zone, play Karn. And I think we're just going to go after their basic planes. Okay, so they have a forest pitching Ashiok, sure, but I still think we're in good shape. So we'll just play the map, just because no reason not to, and pass the turn back. Our life total is still healthy. They have to chump block our Ulamog. I mean, if they top deck, they might have a Deputy of Detention in hand. And so if they draw land, they can do that. But then we can use this Blast Zone to kill their Deputy soon. And our life total is still high enough that I'm not worried about getting cheesed out by a couple Lords or anything like that. Okay, no play. Star, sure. So we'll see what we draw. This deck plays a lot of cantrips, and not very lands, despite the fact that it plays 10 drops. So, okay, they just scooped, sure. Let's see what we would have drawn. Another star into a Sylvan Scry. Well, we had nothing really going on there, but I think this Ulamog would win the game by itself. So, pretty good there. Yeah, you want to play against creature decks that aren't like hyper aggressive red decks with this deck. Like that's your ideal matchup. So certainly happy to play against Spears there. Hopefully we play that again. I think we can do better. This is not really the best payoff on turn 3. If we draw a Tron land, we do have turn 3 Tron, but we can find a hand where we don't need to top deck something for it. Okay, this hand is bad, but I think I am going to keep it. It's awkward to have double Tron lands for sure, but we have double maps, so we have guaranteed turn 4 Tron, and then the question is what to put back, and I think the answer is World Breaker. I think Karn is just a bit more versatile, and I like having access to the green mana. We definitely do not want to use one of our maps to find a forest here. Obviously, if one of these lands was a unique Tron land, this hand would become amazing instead of okay, but I do think turn 4 Tron is still good. So turn 2, we search up our second piece. Turn 3, we play map and search up the third, and then turn 4, we can have 9 mana. So we can play Karn and then have 5 mana left over for, like, any of these things. Plus, we could always just draw, you know, bigger Karn or just naturally draw one of the Tron lands in our first draw step or something like that. So, worst case scenario is turn 4, 9 mana. At least worst case scenario without them, like, blowing up one of our lands. And best case scenario is much better. City of Brass. Okay, that's probably a combo deck, which is not great, although the fact that they didn't have a play on turn 1 is good. Well, if they're playing combo, Emrakul will be good. So we're just going to play a power plant past the turn and search for a mine. You generally want to find the tower last so that the turn you get Tron, you have 3 mana immediately. Also, if we search for a mine and then just draw a tower naturally, that's good. So Thoughtseize would be not too bad here. Oh, interesting. Are they playing Pentad Prism? Okay, so Karn is good against that. But unfortunately, we can't play Karn this turn. Although, wow, they had no second land, so that's good. So we grab our mine. Untap, go mine, map, pass. Alright, that doesn't change the plan. That's actually a pretty good draw. It'll help us find some gas, and it also put sorcery in the graveyard for the Emrakul, but step 1 is getting Tron. So next turn we can go Karn, which is the static ability will be quite good here, and then we'll probably just get Liquid Metal Coating and shut down their City of Brass. Yeah, I think that's the best bet. None of these other cards seem particularly important here. Yeah. Pact of Negation. Wait, oh. Please let me get this in time. Okay, whew, that was close. I was not expecting that, so I was F6ing, but given that... So they're going to play Angel's Grace in their upkeep, but now we definitely just play the Stirrings now. Okay, well, we drawing 2 Eldrazi Titans isn't exactly what we wanted, but finding the tower is. So they got max punished for that line. I actually think that was probably the correct play, but it did not work out well there. So now they have to play their Angel's Grace. So we got our 2-for-1 with our 1-drop artifact. And so, in case you're not familiar, I mean, this means you can't lose the game this turn, so they don't lose the ability to this trigger, even though they did not pay 5. But now we can play Karn, shut down their Pentad Prism. I guess we start with this, just in case we draw something that changes things, but I don't... actually, no, I think I'm just going to keep that in play. No, we'll crack this now. I don't have any green cards. I don't really feel the need to wait on it. Okay, so we will play Karn. Alright, they just scooped the Karn. Sure. So, took down Ad Nauseam. In general, you don't think of combo decks as a great matchup for Tron, but Karn is really good against Ad Nauseam's mana development, and they also just had a slow draw. So, we basically just don't want, like, Worm Coil is terrible here, and Walking Bliss is also bad. So, Warping Whale is okay. It can counter their cantrips, but most of their deck is instant, so that's not great. Wilt is definitely a card we want. I think we also want Veil of Summer. Weather the Storm does not beat their combo, so we don't need that. Torpor Orb, well, yeah, I mean, there's like Torpor Orb shuts down Thassa's Oracle, but I think we still want that in the board to get with Karn. So these are the cards we want to be playing, or at least like yeah, I think we'll bring in Relic just as a cycler, and then probably Ballista is better than Worm Coil, just because it has an immediate effect. Yeah, I think we'll do that. And run this, and hopefully we can get some quick Karns. Alright, here we are for game 2, and obvious mulligan. This hand is, yeah, I mean, not much to say here. No lands. And also the spells are surprisingly bad, too. These are all just cantrips, so good to get all the bad cards out of the way at once. Oh, Ugin is really bad, too. I think it's probably still a bit better than another Ballista, but it's definitely not a card I want to draw. Well, 2 hands, no lands is not great. We'll keep this. It's very awkward not to have green mana, obviously. So we'll put back an Ugin and a Sylvan Scrying, I think. And if we can draw any of our... I mean, if we draw a Tron, the other Tron land, or a map, or any of our stars, we have turn 3 Tron. So that's 16 draws that would give us turn 3 Tron. I mean, yeah, there's a chance this hand does nothing, so hopefully we can draw something. But this hand has very many draws that would turn it from, like, make it basically an incredible hand. Turn 3 Karn plus Liquid Metal Coating. Little Karn plus Liquid Metal Coating is maybe even better than turn 3 Big Karn. Alright, we got there. So, like, yeah, you could, oh, you got so lucky you top decked the map. But, like, we had 16 draws that would do that. So, out of 53 cards, 16 cards, that's, like, almost a third. And that's not even counting, like, other cards that would be fine draws. Actually, I guess most of the cards would not be fine draws there. But we had a lot that would be great, and we drew one, and now we're happy. So, definitely planning on getting that Liquid Metal Coating going on turn 3. I mean, they could have a Pact of Negation again, but if they have that, that's fine. What we didn't want, I mean, they could just kill us on turn 3, potentially, if they had a Pentad Prism and a Simian Spirit Guide there. So we're very happy they're just playing Serum Visions instead of something else. Top is scary, but it's not the end of the world. Alright, well, lots of Tron lands going on over here. So we'll pass back. So we have 7 mana next turn, then 9 mana the turn after. If this was... There's some matchups where there would actually be consideration of playing it slow, grabbing a Forest here, and then next turn using Sylvan Scrying to get Tron, but not in this matchup. Because they play that. I mean, there's definitely... It's not impossible that they kill us this turn, but I think it's unlikely. We have Tower, Power Plant, so we're going for Mine. Ooh, okay, well, I think we're just going to go for that now and just hit this Phyrexian on life. They could kill us here. They could play Pact of Negation and then untap and maybe kill us in their upkeep, but I still think it's worth it to just go for this. And let's see, would we rather hit a land or the unlife? I think I'm just going to hit the unlife. It would take a lot for them to have enough mana for Ad Nauseam this turn. I mean, it's a 6 mana combo, and most of their lands come into play tapped when they have 3 lands in play. They have a lot of scry lands and a lot of fast lands. Yeah, just a tap land. They pass back. So the question is, do we want to plus Karn or just go for another land? I'm kind of leaning towards just going for another land, honestly. Let's see. Yeah, we definitely just want to get Liquid Metal Coating here. So, what is this from? We're going to play Karn and see if it resolves first. If we can get the Liquid Metal Coating down and hit one of their lands already, then I feel okay keeping the... Well, yeah, we'll still see. I'm still not 100% sure what I want to do with this Karn. So, Liquid Metal Coating. We do have action with this Karn. I'm actually still just gonna play. I'm gonna play very conservatively and just take out another land. I think like we would almost definitely not lose, but like say we shut down one land in response. They they could potentially go like Simian Spirit Guide, Angel's Grace Ad Nauseam, and that's very corner case obviously, but it could happen, and so I think I'd rather just shut them off of as much mana as humanly possible. And now we can start, this turn we shut down a land, and then after that we can start killing a land per turn. And if we draw a green source or a star, we can really go off with, oh, they're doing something now. Oh, they did, wow. They did have Ad Nauseam and double Simian Spirit Guide, so very, very good that we took the line we did. So they're just drawing a bunch of cards here. Thoughtseize, Pact. I think we would have lost if we had plus Karn, so... That worked out very well in the end. I mean, now they're drawing a bunch of cards, obviously, so that's not great, but their mana will be very constrained. Also, so we can just Karn for Walking Blisson next turn and kill them that way, actually. They're at 2, so they can't really reveal any more cards. And I still think they can't win with this. I mean, they have one more Simian Spirit Guide, so they'll have 4 mana. We need to make sure to use Liquid Metal Coating on a non-white land, because otherwise they could just use it in response to play Angel's Grace. They do have a Spoils of the Vault that they could cast, so, we could actually definitely lose here. Like, they can go in response, Angel's Grace plus Spoils of the Vault, and maybe do some snazzy stuff with that. But no matter what, we're just going to pass back and Liquid Metal Coating their Dark Slick Shores. So their hand is this and 2 unknowns. Alright. We're done now. Win this turn or lose. That's pretty much what it comes down to. They have 2 mana. They didn't do anything in response. They've already used 2 Simian Spirit Guides, so they only have 1 more in their deck. They can't use Pentad Prism to filter red mana into other colors. Alright, sweet. So managed to take down the linear combo deck 2-0. That's pretty sweet. And on to round 4. Alright, here we are for round 4, and we have managed to win the die roll this time for once. And easy mulligan. Again, if we draw a Tron land, we're good to go, but we can find a hand where we're not relying on that. Ooh. I actually am going to keep this hand. It has a, like, if we draw, we still have the upside of drawing a Tron land and having turn 3 Tron. And we also have Ancient Stirring, so we have a lot more dig. The question is which of the top end cards to put back. And that's actually a very interesting question. It depends a lot on the matchup. Karn is better in general, but Wormcoil is better in the matchups that are hardest. So I think I'm going to put back the Karn in the dark, even though turn 3 Karn is like what your deck is sort of built to do. There's more often than not that will be a worse call, but if we're playing against a deck where Karn just wins, I think we'll still be in pretty good shape. Okay, against Basic Island, definitely want Karn instead of Wormcoil, but it's fine. Drawing Basic Forest was almost definitely our worst draw in our deck. Well, there's another one. So Ancient Stirrings, hopefully we hit another Tron piece. Perfect, so we'll grab Tower, play Tower. And so now, we could just top deck the other piece and have Tron on turn 3. Worst case scenario, though, we can just play Sylvan Scrying and have it on turn 4. I mean, they could mana leak our Sylvan Scrying or something, so that's something to be aware of, but Prairie Stream. So Blue Eye Control, most likely. Hopefully they don't have a Spell Snare. But definitely not going to wait. If we wait, they just have more mana. Okay, so they do have the Snare. I mean, yeah, we don't really have much going on now. Oh, okay. Field of Ruin is annoying, especially since we've already drawn 2 basics. It's very, very unlucky to have drawn 2 basics against them. So now we're out of basics, so this could be a matchup where the Ghost Quarter punishes us for sure. Alright, well, this is pretty much the nightmare scenario. I mean, we drew all 3 of these cards. So, like, didn't draw cantrip, didn't draw land, just literally drew 7 drop, 7 drop, 13 drop. Alright, come on, deck land. Ugh. Okay, we're going to lose this game, even though this is, like, a great matchup. That's pretty rough. Growth Spiral. I mean, we're not necessarily going to lose, but we're very, very far away from Tron. So, Bant, Field of the Dead. Definitely should be a great matchup overall. So this Warping Whale could be a relic. That's what we'd most like it to be here. If they just play Uro, that's very bad. Well, I don't know what's not bad, really. Alright, I'm going to scoop it up to that. So, tough game there. Yeah, I mean, we were just really relying on that Sylvan Scrying, and we got. So, yeah, I think this should be a phenomenal matchup overall, especially now that we get Veils, but sometimes it goes like that. Warping Whale is bad, and Wormcoil is also pretty bad against Path. I think I would rather just Wilts as cyclers and Relic as a cycler. Walking Ballista is also pretty bad, but it's a little bit better against Planeswalkers, and we don't really have anything to bring in, so I think we're just going to run it like this. And we could just bring in Sundering Titan, actually. Maybe I will do that. Like, we still have some decent targets for Karn. Like, Karn will usually be grabbing Liquid Metal Coating. Torpor Orb is also a decent one. And since we're cutting, like, a decent number of top-end cards, I don't want to go too threat light, although obviously we flooded very hard on threats that game. Can't keep a one-lander like that. Oh. Okay, I think I am going to keep this on the back of Ancient Stirrings. Like, we have a lot of ways to find Tron. If they counter our Ancient Stirrings, that's very bad. But I think I'm going to put back Ugin. Ulamog is more expensive, but this hand is set up to potentially get a lot of Tron lands, and Ugin is just a lot worse than Ulamog against them. I mean, yeah, they can path it, but setting them back 2 lands is great. If they force a negation to our star, that would be very surprisingly devastating. Like, they don't realize how good it would be, but it would be amazing. Ugh, okay, drawing that was horrendous, although it makes me happier about having shipped the other 8-drop. Please don't counter this. Okay, good. So we grab Power Plant. Really good to also just put 4 spells to the bottom. We want lands at this point. Land and map. And now, this is actually great that the tower is the one we're missing, too, because we can... Okay, so they countered that. That did not work out for our opponents at all. They almost definitely have no untapped blue lands if they just played it that way. Okay, so... That was bad. That was very bad. I'm going to play Star. I really want to play land this turn. Even if it's not a Tron land, I just want to play a land. Okay, Ancient Stirrings. They could have Mana Leak here. Remand. Oh. Okay, that was bad. And now they can Field of Ruin one of our lands. But luckily, actually, Field of Ruin is not the end of the world because it does unlock our Ancient Stirrings, and we're not going to have Tron next turn either way. Oh, interesting. They're not using the field. Oh, Ashiok. Okay. Did they hit? Okay, they just hit 4 spells, so that's actually amazing. We would have lost in the spot if they hadn't done that. I don't think playing Expedition Map does much. It'll also make them realize that their Ashiok is good, so I'm just going to play this to pressure their Ashiok a bit. But this sucks. We're definitely going to lose this game. Okay, they hit a mine. They did not hit a tower. They did hit a forest, so we only have 2 forests left now. Okay, that is definitely... I mean, it's not good for us per se, but giving us green mana is nice. Also, for what it's worth, I don't think they should have minus the Ashiok there. I just don't think that accomplishes that much. So we will... And now it'll just, like, be around for less time. Ooh. Okay, sure. I will definitely take extra lands when I'm missing land drops. Yeah, that was questionable. So we can Ancient Stirrings, hopefully hit a Tron piece that we're missing. Okay, there's another mine. That's good. And now we go mine, map, which is dead. We can't use the map, but still worth casting in case we can get this Ashiok off the table. We still also do have 4 towers in our deck. Still 4 towers. They play Field of the Dead and pass. There's Sanctum. So now we can play Karn with Veil of Summer backup. Cryptic, we Veil. They still get to draw their card, but we do too. Hopefully their last card isn't a Force. Okay. So I actually think I'm just going to plus and attack the Ashiok for 1 here. I mean, we could minus and get something, but we can just minus next turn. And hitting the Ashiok for 1 is actually pretty relevant. So if they want to activate Ashiok again, they lose it. And we're building up towards Sundering Titan, which will be very tough for our opponent to beat. I think we're just going to minus Karn for a Walking Ballista here, most likely. It's a fairy, bounce our map. That's great. That's actually phenomenal. So hopefully... Oh, no, we already have a land. So they can make 2 zombies, but we can kill both of their planeswalkers and then play Sundering Titan and blow up a lot of their lands. Yeah, we're just going to do that almost definitely. Would we rather get anything else? No, I think, I mean, they could just go Primeval Titan, and that would be bad. But I think we're going to go for the Walking Ballista. Just killing 2 planeswalkers is valuable. I'm going to shoot that immediately because it can plus. And then I'm just going to pass, I think. And, like, if they minus the Ashiok, that's great. That's actively very good for us. And if they, like, what they can do, so they crack that, grab another land, make a zombie. But now we can block one of these and then shoot the Ashiok and shoot them and keep our, okay, so they get back Path or Cryptic. If they get back Path, then they can kill our Karn. But I'd still rather that, I think. Okay, yeah, that's fine. We don't have any forests left in our deck, I believe. Oh, dang. Do they have more zombies? Okay. Yeah, they actually didn't have a land there. Wait, so they actually have not hit a forest this game. Oh, no, they have, sorry. So there's no value in searching, so we'll just kill off our Walking Ballista. Just a quick Ghost Quarter check to see if that hurt us. Is the Ghost Quarter gone? No, it's not, so that was quite bad then. Oh, interesting. They're not pathing our dude. That is very good for us. Okay, we're in this still. So shoot this. They could have another Ashiok. If they don't have another Ashiok, we can get Tron this turn with our map. And yeah, actually, we have enough mana to cast Ulamog, so that'd be good. To Fairy, tuck our Karn, but that doesn't matter. Oh, they plus? Okay. Well, if they don't counter our Expedition map, we can just cast Ulamog, exile their field and their Teferi, and get another Eldrazi. So land. Oh wait, what am I doing? What? I'm sorry about that. Obviously, we did not want to play land there. That was a huge mistake. Well, we have to do the best with what we can now. So grab, almost definitely. Well, yeah, Sorcerer's Spyglass. So we'll take that. Tap 2, Spyglass. Dovin's Veto. Cast Sphere. And crack it. Cast Sphere. And crack it. Okay, that was a good draw. That'll clean up the zombies well. I think I'm just going to crack this now, actually, in case they have, like, they could have something. So we grab one of our towers and pass the turn. So now we have, like, our hand is stacked. Our life total is high. They have a lot of lands and a lot of cards, so they could have a lot of things that would kill us. But I do think just casting Ulamog will be good here if they don't have... Okay, so there's that. That's not that much of a problem. They can't even escape it right now, but even if they do, we can exile... Although I guess then there's 3 things we really want to exile. So we're most likely going to be going for Ugin here instead of Ulamog, which will let them keep their... Oh, they're not cracking. Oh, yeah, they should definitely... Are they not playing Uro? Wow. Okay, that's very surprising. And very good. Like, I'm definitely happy about that. So we will play Tower. Yeah, I think that was potentially a game-ending misplay on our opponent's part. So cast Ulamog, exile Field of the Dead, and Teferi. They can counter this, but we still get the exile trigger. Cryptic Command, counterbounce your Teferi. Okay. But now we can just get Emrakul. So they do get another zombie here. They get to rebuy their Cryptic, but I still just don't think that matters that much. I think the Emrakul should be pretty good here. Grab Emmy. Exile that. And I'm just going to cast this Sylvan Scrying because I just don't want to draw land and it could get shut down. We'll grab a Ghost Quarter and pass the turn. I mean, I guess they could field and take us off of something for this turn, but we can still actually, no, they can't even field and take us off of this. This costs 7 right now. And we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lands in play, so yeah, we'd be good to go. So they play their Teferi, which is, and again, a misplay. Our opponent's not playing very good here. I think, or well, I think they should have played Uro for sure. They need to pressure us, not just draw cards. So we know they have Cryptic, so we're just going to cast Emrakul instead of Ugin. Actually, we can cast both. Okay, so cast Emrakul. We actually want them to Cryptic this. Okay, beautiful. So they Cryptic this, then we can just play Ugin, and they could have a Force of Negation, but if they don't have Force of Negation, then this Ugin will almost definitely end the game. We could also just play Sundering Titan, actually. No, I think it's better to play Ugin. Nice. So now we get to take their control of the next turn, and we have an Ugin on the battlefield. They do have an Uro in the graveyard, so we'll see what their hand is. Okay, this is great. This is actually so good for us. So, cast Primeval Titan. Fail to find. But I will take a look at their deck. Yeah, they should have won this game very easily, but they did not. The question is, do we want to just grab fetch lands out of their deck and then crack them or not? And the answer is no. Like, them drawing fetch lands is bad for them. So what do they have left in their deck in terms of ways? They have one Primeval Titan, one more Field of the Dead. They have some stuff, but still not too bad. So that happens. Then path the Titan. No search. No need to play land or anything. They can field and take us off of Tron, but I think the damage is pretty much done. So pass the turn back. This is a close game. It definitely could go either way. So they have growth, field, path. They can play Uro, and we can't exile it, but we can play Sundering Titan, which will be bigger than it. And then we can kill their white source, so if they tap their white source now, they won't be able to path it. Ooh, actually, I should have paid attention to... They have to have basic planes, I would imagine. If they didn't have a basic planes, then we could go for Ghost Quartering them first, but yeah, this is going to be pretty tough. Hopefully they tap this white source, but I don't think they will. So put the field into play. They drew an island for turn or off the Uro. So they're still holding Growth Spiral and Path. Take us off of Tron, but that doesn't matter. We have a lot of win conditions left in our deck, so I'm not too worried about that. We also have, no lands left in our deck. So, Growth Spiral, Path, and one unknown. They do have an active Uro. That was a bad draw. Yeah, I definitely should have noted if they had a basic planes, but there's no way they don't, right? They have to if they're playing all these fields. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, play is pretty simple. Actually, yeah, we couldn't even do that either way since they took us off Tron, so. Cast this, blow up 3 of your lands. Growth Spiral. Okay. Actually, yeah, this Uro will kill us fast. I was sort of underestimating or understating how bad this situation is. It actually is pretty bad because this will kill us in 2 hits. So they have to path this in response to the trigger. I just want to take a look at my deck and see how many draws would save us. So, any of the Karns would do it. Do we have enough mana for Ugin? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So any of those would do it. Ancient Stirrings for any of the Karns would do it. Star and Sphere are both redraws. Scrying or any of these 4 lands wouldn't do it. Wilt or Veil probably wouldn't do it. It's going to be close. So for the leaves trigger, we will take out their island, forest, plains. And then with the other trigger, we take out island, forest. So they're down to just 4 mana. Unfortunately, they do still have triple blue. We just plus them, since plussing on Uro doesn't do anything. So we'll see if they go for our Ugin or our face. I actually don't really know what I think is better. That's pretty close. They should probably go for our face, actually. Okay, they went for... Yeah, so now we can actually kill this with Uro, with our Blast Zone. So that actually means they were in pretty good shape, I think. Because they don't have double green, so they can't escape it again. Is our relic gone? We only have 1 relic, unfortunately. Oh, Jace the Mind Sculptor. So they can Fate Seal us. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, they definitely should have Fate Sealed us there. That was a pretty big mistake. Our relic is gone. We can get it back with Karn, but Karn would definitely be getting Ensnaring Bridge first. Okay, that was a good draw. Please do not... I mean, the one argument for brainstorming, which they did, was looking for a Force of Negation, which they're not unlikely to have. They've only gone through 1 so far, so if they have a Force here, that's bad. And actually, we're set. We could have gone for a more... Okay, they did have the Force, so yeah, that's bad. We could have gone for a more conservative line of just leveling up the Blast Zone, but I don't think that's a really winning proposition, just letting them untap with Uro and Jace, and yeah, that just seems pretty bad. So we have 1 mine left in our deck, so we can get Tron. So if they Fate Seal us, then we can just crack this in our upkeep and shuffle. And this has been quite a battle, but it does look like it's swinging the wrong direction at this point. It's knowing that our life total is so low, because our threat density in our library right now is huge, and we have infinite mana. But unfortunately, we're not going to have time. Okay, hopefully they... That'd be really funny if they actually sacrifice the wrong Uro, but I don't think they will. They found the line. So they have 1 card, which we don't know about. They're about to draw another card, but it's a random card off the top. I think I'm still just going to upkeep, fire off this Expedition map, because it just thins 1 land out of our deck, and we have infinite mana. Oh, so they can bounce our map now. So they take off that option. Alright, well, we have 1 draw. We have some draws that would definitely win the game. Another misplay. They should have plus there, because now Little Karn wins the game. Or it doesn't necessarily win the game, but probably wins the game. Whereas before, they could have just bounced our Ensnaring Bridge. Alright, come on, deck. Give us the goods. That's hilarious. That is really funny. So we play the map. Again, yeah, that just didn't accomplish anything. So crack this, grab our mine. Play the mine. Play Karn. I mean, they could have Force of Negation. They could also have another Teferi or Cryptic. So they have ways to win this, but there's also a lot of ways that we win. So, is there any argument for anything other than Ensnaring Bridge? I don't think so. They could just bounce a Sundering Titan or a Worm Coil with the Jace. Yeah, so it's definitely got to be the bridge. We can put 2 counters on this now if we want to. Oh, is their last card a counterspell of some sort? Or they have 2 cards, so not their last card, but... Okay, so this resolves. I mean, if they have Cryptic or a Little Teferi beats us. But most other things we're in pretty good shape against. Like, having an active Karn is going to be really good when we have infinite mana. Next turn we can make a Ballista that's absolutely massive and destroy their board. Again, I don't want to be mean. Like, people told me that I should really try not to be mean to my opponents, and that makes sense. But, like, our opponent has had, like, at least 5 different points this game where they could have easily locked it up, and luckily they've missed them all. They might still be able to lock it up. They probably are favored here, but it's close. Don't have Cryptic? Oh, they have the Cryptic. Bummer. Okay. So we do lose. Really tight battle. Pretty fun game. I think we played it well. Yeah, I don't think there was any places that we could have. I mean, we could have just leveled up this blast zone earlier instead of playing our Karn. I still think that's just not really a winning line. But so unfortunately, our opponent was able to take us down there. All right, well, fighting for the 3-2 now. Not super glorious, but hopefully we can get it done. I'll see you in round 5. All right, here we are in round 5, and unfortunately we have lost the die roll. But fortunately, we have a great hand. We don't really want to have a forest and a blast zone in the opener, but turn 3 Tron with a threat is pretty nice. Much better on the play, of course, but what can you do? All right, Breeding Pool is a good sign. We just lost to a Breeding Pool deck 2-0, but I still think in general this is probably going to be a good matchup for us. Flooded Strand, go. All right. Well, I mean, if they have a counterspell for our Karn, we don't really have much going on. As in, we have nothing going on, but hopefully they don't have a counter. Hopefully they just tap out for a Teferi or something stupid like that. Also, hopefully they don't have a Growth Spiral here. Worst case scenario would be Growth Spiral, put in a Field of the Dead, untap, land, Wilderness Rack. If they do all of that and then have Cryptic, we're going to lose. Uh-oh. Their step 1, at least don't be Field of the Dead. Oh, no. No! Okay, well, that's bad. They don't have Island for Cryptic, but they do have that to shut down our Tron. Hit the mine, please. Please hit the mine. Bummer. Okay. No point in floating mana. I think it's... People always float mana whenever they can. I think it's just a waste of time, usually. Grab this forest. We're just going to now search up the second power plant. Since we have fewer in the deck, so it's more likely they will naturally draw a tower. Wow, lots of mines. So we will, I guess there's a slim chance they could have Sensor. It's unlikely, but might as well do it this way. So cast the Scrying. They do have the leak. Cast the Star. But then the beautiful thing about Karn is it's like if you have Tron and 7 mana, you can slam it and start going to work immediately. But if they disrupt you, you can still just cast it on turn 4. So we do have a good play lined up for this turn. They do have Cryptic Command mana. Well, I think we're going to start by cracking this. Wow, okay. So I'm just going to go for a Karn here because it plays around Mana Leak, and next time we can play Ugin around Mana Leak. Alright, so they do indeed have the Cryptic. We pass it back. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lands in circulation out of only 14 cards. So we only have 9 lands left in our last 46 cards. So that's pretty sweet. We have, yeah, solidly under 1 in 5. So it's like we're playing a 12 land deck from here. Oh, actually, we can't play around Mana Leak right now. If they have another leak, that would be brutal. I think we still need to go for the Ugin here, though. Just letting them untap with a Jace does not seem like a good plan. If we drew a tower, that would be pretty nice. But yeah, I think we are just going to jam the Ugin. Hopefully they don't have counter. That is a truly horrendous card here. No mana leak. Nice. Boom. Shoot your Jace. And so now they have to deal with this Ugin in some way. They can start making tokens with Field of the Dead. And we have this Worm Coil, but the Worm Coil is a complete brick because they can just... Oh. So they can make a zombie right now. They can make 2 zombies right now. This card is awful. I don't think this card is a healthy card to have in the format at all, frankly. Decks shouldn't be allowed to win by just playing lands. Like, I mean, I played Mazes and decks before, but I don't think this card is great. I would be happy to see it go. So they get back Cryptic. I mean, yeah, this is sort of bad. I mean, they still have to deal with this Ugin. Ugin and Field of the Dead are like, it'll be a tight battle between those two. We can -0 Ugin to deal with all of the zombies. Unfortunately, Blast Zone cannot kill 0 drops. There's no way to remove the counters. Well, we need to find... Okay, so that's annoying because they can make a instant speed zombie. Okay, that was a good draw. So I'm going to cast that. Hopefully they don't play around us having Ghost Quarter in our deck. Beautiful. So we play the Ghost Quarter. Use the Ghost Quarter. They crack their Misty in response. They could bounce draw our Ugin now. If they have double Cryptic, we get pretty rocked. But I don't think we play around that here. So, there's been a couple... It's never been disastrous that we had this over a forest, and now this is a case where it's much, much better. So I would say overall this league, Ghost Quarter over a forest has been a slight upgrade. Always good to keep tabs on these things. Warping Whale has been consistently bad, so that's something to note as well. I'm not sure... We haven't drawn it that much. Okay, so they're just bouncing that in response. That's fine. That's actually card neutral, because now... Like, this was going to put us down a card either way, so now they don't get the basic. Now we can -0 to take care of all of their tokens. And they can't make another one end of turn. And we cast our Worm Coil. And they're very likely to have a path, but at least that takes yet another land out of our deck. Then we will have seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 lands. So only 7 lands left out of 42 cards. So 1 out of 6 cards is land. So it's the equivalent of a 10-land deck from here. I like those odds of drawing spells. I guess that's sort of not how it works. We've drawn 3 of our cards that just find lands, but we still do have more left. They can make 2 zombies now. Still not too worried about that. Unless they have like a Primeval Titan here. Could also have Jace plus. Interesting. We're cracking that now, so we will be able to kill both of their zombies with our Ugin. Oh, best case scenario is they're going for Uro. Elder Gargaroth. So, now if we want to kill the Gargaroth, we have to kill our Ugin, which is not great. But I think it is still worth it to do that. I really don't want this Gargaroth to be getting any value. We could just play the Worm Coil and hope they don't have a way to kill they don't have a way to kill it, but I think that's too loose. So we will just trade off this Ugin. It's done good work. It's killed 5 zombies and a Gargaroth and a Jace. So I'll take that production. Cast Worm Coil. They are likely to have another path. They also do have another Mystic Sanctuary in their deck, so a fetch land will rebuy Cryptic. But we do have 4 creatures with cast triggers in our deck. So hopefully we can find one of those. Alright, so question is what to do with this. I think we're going to put it on 3. I mean, actually, we can't put it on 4. 3 or 4 are the main numbers we would want it on. But this puts us in an easy range of putting it up to 5 for Gargaroth or 4 for Jace. Okay, that's a good draw. Play the mine, attack for 6. And now I'm just going to jam this. Like, yeah, they could have a counterspell, but we're not really going to be in a situation to play around that. More draw steps just means more counterspells. I think in general, people play around counterspells way too much in situations like this. Like, as the control player, all I want is more draw steps. Like, that is the best thing that you could possibly give them. So I'm just going to play this now and give them fewer chances to draw a fetch land or whatever. So, like, yeah, they had the Cryptic, but, like, they were going to have Cryptic either way. So I'm just going to jam this now. I guess this does play into Mana Leak or Snap Leak. But I'd definitely rather than Snap Leak than... Yeah, I'm just going to jam this now. You can give value off your Mana Leak if you want to. I don't think we're... Yeah. Okay. If they do have Leak here, we do get punished. Okay, yeah, that didn't go well. I wanted to keep the pressure up and just give them as few draw steps as possible, like I said. But that is awkward to give Mana Leak value here. Although with Field of Ruin, now Mana Leak would have been a good card either way, actually. So, yeah. Now it actually is actively much better than we played that. So, funny how it goes sometimes. If they kill this, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... Wait, yeah, so we can't find a forest, unfortunately. So we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. So we can play anything in our deck other than Ugin. Let's take a look at our deck and see what juiciness we have. So, 2 lands that give us Tron. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lands that it would just be bad. Scryings or maps would just be bad. Ballista would be okay. Warping Whale would be terrible. Emrakul is the best. Or Karn. So yeah, our draws are good here, but we do need to draw something. They have 2 zombies, and our life total is high, but they'll be beating down somewhat, and their board's going to get bigger and bigger. Okay, Karn. What does that find? We can grab Crucible of Worlds, which would mess up their Field of Ruin. That's probably the best bet. They can kill our Karn, but there's not really a good way to prevent that, so I think that's just what I want to do. Hopefully they don't have another counterspell as their last card. This also, I mean, we can kill any lands that we want. We can also, we could get like a Worm Coil, but I think I would still just, we can't cast anything relevant this turn, so I think I'd rather just get Crucible. Don't have a 3rd Mana Leak, please. Alright, so Ghost Quarter. Pass to their draw step, and I'm going to draw step Ghost Quarter them. Wow! I was not expecting that. They kill our Karn, we have no action. If we just top deck a couple bad cards, that was surprising, but I'll take it. So, managed to take them down in game 1. Hopefully we can do the same in game 2. So we'll bring in some Veils, bring in some Wilts as cantrips, cut all these Worm Coils that are terrible against their paths. Bring in that, bring in that. Bring out Warping Whale. These are good against Planeswalkers. Wait, not Karn. So do we just cut Wilt then, I guess? Relic is definitely better than Wilt. Relic is a semi-relevant thing to search for with Karn. There are some times where Relic will be the best thing we could find. Yeah, I think I would rather actually keep that in the board, just because that basically gives us 4 copies. We'll just play a second Wilt here. And again, not a good card, but just Worm Coil is just horrible. So bad against Teferi, so bad against Jace, so bad against Path. Gets bounced by Cryptic for no value. Crucible and Relic are both very good cards in the matchup, but I think I would rather keep them in the board still for Karn. So we will just run it like this. Wilt also could be good. Like, there's a chance they're playing Stony Silence or Damping Sphere, so that's relevant. All right, turn 3 Tron, we'll keep. Not turn 3 World Breaker, unfortunately, because we won't have a window to get the star down. Very nice that they are playing that now. This is definitely a matchup where resources in library can be relevant, and so just having this gone out of their deck could be a big swing later in the game. Our opponent probably there was actually conceded because of time. Like, they probably thought we were like 80% to win, which is probably about right. And they were already low on time, which they knew. Well, now I'm just going to play mine and star and pass. This way we have turn 3 World Breaker, so we can exile land even if they do have the leak or the disdainful stroke or ceremonious rejection or anything like that. And we can keep the map around for if they have a Field of Ruin. No field. It's a fairy. Okay, so they will probably be bouncing the map. If they bounce the star, we'll just crack the star and they won't draw a card, so that's a win for us. Okay, so they do bounce that, but that doesn't matter too much. Now we can just take out their white source and get a threat down. Again, ooh, well, I actually am still just going to play World Breaker, as weird as that may seem. They can force of negation Karn, and they can't force of negation this. But yeah, we only won that game because of Ghost Quarter. I think we would probably lose, or almost definitely lose to that Field of Ruin without the Ghost Quarter. So far I'm happy to have Ghost Quarter in the deck for sure. Karn resolving is much better than World Breaker resolving, but World Breaker is guaranteed to have a good effect here, and Karn is not. And this also keeps them off of Cryptic next turn. Plus, just having a 5/7 down pressures their life total and their planeswalkers very effectively. They can't really bounce it for value. They could path it, but then they're just giving us more mana. If they conceded last game because of time, okay, yeah. They should not have waited that long there if they're worried about time at all. So take up the white source, pass it back, World Breaker, so far looking very nice. They plus play Field of Ruin, sure. We'll see if they just blow something up now. They could field, grab a planes, and then path the World Breaker to keep their Teferi around. That would get both of the last two basic planes, or basic forests out of our deck. Alright, so they take out the tower. We grab forest. They probably should have waited until our upkeep to do that, but as it turns out, we can't really punish them for it. If we had Sylvan Scrying, that would be a massive difference. Okay, so I think we're just going to start with cracking a sphere. Hopefully hitting a Tron land. Or specifically a tower. Okay, we will play another sphere. Alright, we'll just play map and play second mine and pass it back and plan on getting a tower end of turn. They have no green mana right now, which means our Sundering Titan will have to blow up our forest, but A, they're likely to have green mana soon, and B, well, if they don't, that's really good for us, and C, I don't mind losing a forest. Oh, there's a forest, so all irrelevant. They just conceded. Alright, yeah, so, I mean, we played the same deck twice, lost the first time, won the second time, so I'll open up the deck and we can talk about some of the cards. So, we got a 3-2 in this list. Not inspiring. We lost to Bent, Ramp, Control, which should be a phenomenal matchup, and to Mono Red. Right? Was that what we lost to? No, we lost to Scapeshift. So, Scapeshift and Blue White. So, those are both really good World Breaker matchups. So, I'm happy to have played the World Breaker here. The Ghost Quarter overperformed. It's also very good in both of the matchups we lost. So, definitely like having the Ghost Quarter in the main. Warping Whale was pretty underwhelming. Other than that, pretty much all the cards were good. So, I mean, maybe, I guess, I could see just cutting a Whale. I guess, like, fast creature decks are a problem. We could maybe, like, cut Whale for one main deck Thragtusk, which is okay against both of those decks. Like 5 points of life gain actually is relevant against Scapeshift, and Thragtusk pressures Planeswalkers pretty well and defends against Field of the Dead tokens very well. So maybe that could be a change we would make to the main deck. As for the sideboard, we never ended up searching for a Torpor or no, we did. I think we ended up getting actually every single one of these cards at some point except for Oblivion Stone. I still think Oblivion Stone is worth playing. I'm not sure I would make any changes to the sideboard, honestly. I think I would basically just cut this whale for 1 Thragtusk and call it a day. Then you have no removal spells, so I guess that does hurt against some of the red decks, but having 4 Worm Coils and Thragtusk is pretty good for sort of just like ways to catch up and gain life. Yeah, the deck is strong. It's like been part of Modern for a long time, and it always will be, like it or not, unless they ban one of the Tron lands. But it's a lot of fun to be on this side, I will say. Not as much fun to be on the other side, but I do like it. I like having the 3 Eldrazi as well. So yeah, let me know if you saw any egregious misplays or if you think I'm really undervaluing the 6-mana Ugin. And thank you for watching.